Okay, well, I thought I was going to sleep, but I have a lot more stuff in my mind. And apparently, I just recorded a video and it went too long or something, and now I guess it got deleted. So now I've organized my thoughts better, so this video actually will probably make more sense than the one I just made. Um, I've been thinking about consciousness, and this is something I wanted to talk about tonight because I feel like that and the previous video were things that were on my mind. So, consciousness basically is probably the most confusing thing because nobody really understands what it is, or they haven't figured it out completely yet. But we have some ideas about what it is and stuff. Um, but for me, I feel like, you know, and this is a video I saw. This is based on a video I saw on TED.com. The guy, the guy that was giving the lecture, he's a philosopher, and he was like, "Yeah, everyone thinks that they're an expert on consciousness because everybody experiences consciousness." Um, So I guess this is me pretending to be an expert, even though I'm obviously not, because I'm not a philosopher. But I think it is important to reflect on your own consciousness because um, it's the only thing you really have. I mean, it's kind of the one thing that makes us human. So I think it's a pretty important issue. Um, I think a lot of people can experience consciousness and not actually maybe fully understand it or reflect on it enough. So yeah, everybody's conscious. Every human is a conscious human being. But do we really understand consciousness, and have we reflected on it enough, in a sense, to really use it to our best ability? So, from these questions stemmed a search and I guess, a pattern of thought that I've really started thinking about. So, like the other night, I couldn't go to sleep because I was thinking about consciousness, and so the next day and the next last couple days, I've been writing things down that I feel like are constant things that go through my head that I feel like I can really narrow down to what constitutes my consciousness. And I can only speak for myself, so I'm just going to not talk in generalities but specifics. So for myself, I experience one of the big things I noticed would be like fears, anxieties, insecurities, um, insecurities, and that was the main big part for like the negative side of my consciousness. So like I have all these fears and anxieties in the back of my mind all the time. So I would consider that part of my consciousness because it's a thought pattern that reflects my personality and who I am, and helps me function in a world where that's required. So another aspect would be my hopes. I guess hopes and dreams, aspirations, whatever you want to call it. Those are things that are always in my mind all the time. So I have these fears on one end and these hopes on the other end. So, but they're not all one and the same, and I think that's important to note. So, in a sense, I guess I compartmentalize my thought patterns, and these patterns are those insecurities, fears, uh, anxieties. I would clump those kind of in the same for myself. And the other side is the dreams, aspirations, and such. And there's a third one that I would say is also compartmentalized uh, set of beliefs or thought patterns, and those are my responsibilities, obligations, things I feel that as a responsible person in a social environment, I have to interact with people in a way that's responsible and keeps myself alive and safe and protects my self interests. So I have these three aspects, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't narrowed down. And there's also my subconscious, which I call that memory building and conditioned responses that I've been taught, things that are culturally I've been culturally conditioned to do or act or take action on. So there's certain etiquette and stuff that I've been trained growing up. So I have these like three aspects of my normal consciousness, and I've really narrowed it down. I'm sure there's more. And then there's my subconscious, which is uh, probably constitutes some of my fears as well, because I don't feel like all my fears and anxieties are, have been surfaced, yet I do recognize the fact that they are a part of my consciousness. So I think those maybe go in between my subconscious and my like regular consciousness. Like I'm more aware of some of them than more than others. So I do know that there are fears that I don't know about yet. But so like the more I know about them, the more comfortable I feel with dealing with them. But anyways, so I have these patterns, thought patterns that I consider part of my consciousness, and I feel like these thought patterns are kind of circular in nature. They kind of go through lapse. So I experience these fears and these anxieties, insecurities, as in the same manner that I also experience my hopes and aspirations. They're always on my mind, so I feel like this is part of my consciousness. Um, Also, the subconscious, I think those things are more unexpected, and those are more conditioned and more mechanical in nature because I don't have as much control over them. So, anyways, the point I was trying to get to is from these thoughts I was having about consciousness, I thought that okay, well, if I can compartmentalize my thought patterns, and if that's truly how my mind and my consciousness works, do I not also compartmentalize other beliefs, other systems? So, like, um, for example, like religion and like belief in God. Could God be compartmentalized? Could the idea of God be a set of beliefs that are a pattern or a circle of that go through different patterns, and like I keep thinking of the same ideas and logical, and I rationalize and I make logical connections that help me understand like the world because of this compartmentalized view of God. So if these thought patterns and these compartmentalized views of God, if it's possible for those to exist, um, I'm kind of speculating here, but I'm thinking, what if that is actually what they are? These beliefs are actually just other thought patterns in your mind that you rationalize to be real outside of your own mind, when in reality there's no evidence for such thing. Um, so I guess like my question is, we get stuck in like fears and anxieties, right? It's like people who dwell too much on that part of their consciousness, those insecurities and fears, they actually ends up taking over who they are as a person, even though it's not how they should be living their life. They should, and I mean, I don't think anyone should be living in fear or insecurities. Um, so, is it possible that the belief in God is like a compartmentalized belief system, a series of patterned thoughts that actually get you kind of stuck in like a circular reasoning, sort of? Because I feel like if you're not getting any new information about something, it really does become circular reasoning. So like in my pursuit to understand God, I had to I had to seek out outside sources, or like find out new things that I because every question I always ended up with a really hard question when I asked about God was always he's mysterious, or you won't understand. It's like, and there's always a roadblock. And so I wanted to learn something new about God, and with these new things that I thought I was learning about what God was outside of like the Bible and like things I've been told, I realized that he's more like an idea, or like more like a system of beliefs, and that people rationalize any way they possibly can. So I don't mean to say that this is true for everyone, but for myself, I kind of felt like there were certain characteristics that I had attributed to God, and that I had given him this character that was compartmentalized set of beliefs, and I was never learning anything new and understanding anything more. I was just being told the same things. Guess my time's up. Sorry.